So this is the last question of this year. Now it says terrorism has become a significant threat to global peace and security. Okay, this is the statement that they have given, and then they say evaluate the effectiveness of UNSC Counter-Terrorism Committee and its associated bodies in addressing and mitigating this threat at international level. So this is the question. They are basically asking that we have to evaluate the effectiveness of the CTC and its associated bodies. So how we are going to write? First of all, we are going to give a introduction. Then if you know, then you can talk about the associated bodies. Then you write that where the CTC have succeeded and where it has failed. Then you can give a way forward and then a conclusion. Okay. So in introduction, you can write that that terrorism is a global threat against humanity, peace and stability. Here, next, so if you know the facts, if you know what are the associated bodies, you write. If you do not know, then no worries, leave, just go with the success, failure, way forward, conclusion. It will also give you the marks. So these are the list of the associated bodies. Number 1, it is resolution 1267. This is always in news. This is used to sanction individuals and terror groups. We have sanctioned Mazhur Azhar, someone. So we sanction them under 1267. Next is resolution 1373. This is where we have established CTC. Next is Counter Terrorism Executive Directorate. It was established in 2004. Next is Global Counter-Terrorism Strategy. It was established in the year 2006. Then we are having UN Office for Counter-Terrorism. Clear? But no worries, if you do not know, just leave, just go to the other part that you write. What are the successes of the CTC and its associated bodies? So first you can say, we have started with the global cooperation. Now before we start with this global cooperation, let me give you the history. Terrorism somewhere started in the 1980s, and it was when Afghanistan was taken, the Afghanistan control was taken over by the USSR, and USA was trying to go against the USSR in the Afghanistan region via Pakistan. So when this tussle was going in the Afghanistan, USA started funding the terror groups in Afghanistan like Al-Qaeda and the other. These Al-Qaeda and the others, they even helped Zia-ul-Haq, who was the Pakistan president in 1980s, to terrorize India also. So this was how India became the first nation in the world which was affected by the terrorism. And who was the culprit? The culprit was Pakistan. So when India started going in the world level that there is a terrorism and India has been affected negatively, then West and especially the USA was saying, no, there is good terrorism, there is bad terrorism, and what is affecting you is a good terrorism, and they are not terrorists but they are freedom fighters and all that bullshit USA and the West was saying. But the things changed when in 2001 USA was struck by the Al-Qaeda, and that 9/11 attack happened. And that attacks happened. That was the time when USA understood that there is no difference between good and bad terrorism. Terrorism is terrorism, and then they started helping India. They started taking help of India how to counter terrorism. And this is how the world, they started doing the global cooperation on this particular aspect. Next important is legal framework. Now this legal framework, CTC have helped to develop the legal framework at the world level also, and at the nation level also. Next, technical assistance. Whatever technical assistance the nations, those who do not have the infrastructure to counter terrorism, then they are helping. And you see that somewhere about 2011 and 12, after the Libya crisis, after the rise of the ISIS, it was seen that world have been affected by the terrorism a lot. Okay? The regions where there was no terrorism, there also the terrorism has went and they are affecting the world. Therefore, technical assistance to those areas which were not having infrastructure to counter terrorism, that is also being assisted by the CTC and the associated bodies. Next, intelligence sharing, again very important. Next, 2022 Delhi Declaration. Now this declaration in 2022 was focusing on online radicalization. Next, cryptocurrency. Okay. Terrorists are now using cryptocurrency as a terror funding source. Next, UAVs. Now they are even using UAVs to drop the weapons, to drop the persons, to drop the drugs, money and the other things. Next, safe havens. There are some places in the world which are considered to be the safe havens for the terrorists. So this organization is trying to pinpoint those safe havens and trying to make sure that the world comes against these safe havens. Next, cyber terrorism. Now they are even using the cyber space to terrorize. Next is FATF. Now FATF is a economic organization known as Financial Action Task Force. Now this particular force, the mandate or the aim is that they find out that who all are doing the terror financing, and if some nation is doing, they blacklist that particular nation. Next is sanctions and asset freezing. So in the resolution of 1267, you can also do the asset freezing. Asset freezing is also possible from there. So we are doing the asset freezing of the terrorist or the terrorist group through that particular resolution. Next is limitation. Now what are the limitation in this particular CTC and its associated bodies? So first is there is no unified definition. Definition is lacking. India says that terrorism is terrorism, but Pakistan says no. Those who are creating nuisance in India, they are not terrorists, they are freedom fighters. This is what Pakistan says. China, who established SCO to counter terrorism, when it comes to India, they say no. Again, it is something else, it is not terrorism. Even USA, who is being affected majorly by the Al-Qaeda, they refused to expedite the 26/11 that Mumbai attacks mastermind to India. Then there are countries like Iran, Saudi Arabia and the others who are funding the terrorist organization to act against the Shia Sunni politics and also against Israel, Hezbollah and the other organizations. These are terrorist organizations, but unfortunately because of the politicization of these terrorist group, unfortunately the world is not able to agree upon one definition. I have explained 2 points. There is no unified definition. Second, there is politicization of terrorism. Next is lack of enforcement mechanism. Now if we know that Pakistan is doing the terrorism, then who will enforce it? United Nations is having only the peacekeeping force, but they are not having the force to go and attack. So who is going to enforce? What is the enforcement mechanism? So there is lack of enforcement mechanism. Next, evolving nature of terrorism. Terrorists are also evolving them. Lone wolves means the attack by one person. It has been seen in the West. Next, cyber attacks, use of cryptocurrency, use of UAVs. So these are the limitations. Then in conclusion, what you will write? In conclusion, we can say that India have given the proposal of this CCIT. What is this CCIT? Comprehensive Convention on the International Terrorism. So we have given this particular proposal way back, but unfortunately the world is bifurcated and they are not agreeing on this particular CCIT. So they must adopt this particular CCIT so as to effectively counter the terrorism. Next, you can say that we must the world must come forward to agree on one definition and if we are able to agree on one definition, then we can easily counter the menace of terrorism. Okay, I hope all these 4 questions you have understood. Okay, these questions are very easy, and you must remember that in each question try to draw one diagram. In Maldives you can draw the Maldivian diagram. In CAR I have shown you how to draw. In classes we have seen, I have taught you how you must draw the world map very easily, very quickly, so that you can get an extra edge on the other students. Clear hai? I hope you have understood all this. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye.